The true sign that you're on the right path isn't universal acceptance, but painful resistance from those around you. This isn't my opinion. It's a fundamental principle of the individuation process, which Carl Jung considered the most important task of human life, the ultimate purpose of existence. Most people spend their entire lives in a mental prison built from the expectations of others, the fear of rejection, and the comfortable illusion of security. They think peace is the absence of conflict. But true, profound peace of mind only comes when you have the courage to unleash the storm by following your own voice. In the next few minutes, we'll discover 7 subtle, often ignored signs your psyche sends you every day. You'll understand why moments of chaos can be a compass and seemingly random coincidences are actually a precise map of your destiny. You'll learn to distinguish the voice of intuition from the noise of fear. And you'll understand that if no one criticizes you, you're likely stagnant. We'll begin with a sign that most people dismiss as mere coincidence, but which Jung considered a whisper from the universe itself. The first and most mysterious sign that you are following your soul's path is a surge of unexpected synchronicities. These are not mere coincidences. They are moments when the external world inexplicably reflects your internal thoughts, creating a logical, almost scripted sequence of events. Jung defined synchronicity as a causal, connecting principle, meaning that these events are connected not by cause and effect, but by meaning. It's the moment when you think of someone you haven't seen in years, and they call 5 minutes later. It's the moment when you're struggling with a specific problem, and the answer appears in a randomly opened book, a conversation between strangers you overhear in a cafe, or the title of a song on the radio. Jung himself experienced one of the most famous examples during a session with a patient trapped in her extreme rationality. She told him a dream about a golden scarab, and at that very moment, Jung heard a knock on the window. He opened it, and a golden worm beetle, the closest European equivalent of the scarab, flew into the room. This event breached her intellectual armor and opened her to the therapeutic process. In our hyper-rational, algorithm-dominated world, we have been programmed to dismiss such experiences as mere coincidence or cognitive error, the so-called confirmation bias. But it's something much deeper. Psychologically, when you begin to follow a path aligned with your deepest self, your mind becomes a resonator. Your subconscious, focused on a new direction, begins to filter reality differently, picking out information from the background it had previously ignored. It's as if you bought a red car and suddenly started seeing red cars everywhere. But synchronicity is more than just selective attention. It's a dialogue between your inner world and external reality. It's a sign that the barrier between your psyche and matter is thinning. How can you take advantage of this? Start keeping a synchronicity journal. Every evening, write down the smallest significant coincidences of your day. Don't analyze them. Don't look for logical explanations. Just note them. After a month, go back to your notes and look for patterns. You'll see these coincidences form a map that validates your journey, encouraging you when doubts arise. However, these external signs are only echoes of something much more powerful happening within. This leads us to the second, more subtle evidence, an inner sense of peace amidst external chaos. The second paradoxical sign of the right path is the ability to feel profound inner peace, even when a storm rages outside. Contemporary culture sells us the toxic idea that being on the right path means a life without problems, a smooth journey to success. This is a lie. The true path, the path of individuation, often leads through the most difficult terrain: corporate restructuring, the end of a long-term relationship, financial difficulties. However, the difference is that when you are in harmony with your true self, external chaos ceases to affect your core. It is like a storm on the surface of the ocean, while in the depths there is unshakable peace. Jung considered this inner harmony to be proof that the ego, your conscious identity, is finally in touch with the self, the archetype of wholeness, the center of your psyche. Think of it as a ship sailing against the current, against the nature of the waters, shakes and struggles with every wave. Even on a calm sea, its journey is fraught with tension, but a ship that sails with the current, even in a storm, moves with a certain grace. The waves may toss it, but its movement is in harmony with a more powerful force. In today's world, where we are bombarded with news of crises, where social and professional pressures create chronic anxiety, this inner peace is the most valuable currency. If you lose your job, but deep down you feel relief, not panic, it's a sign. If you end a relationship and feel sadness, but beneath it there's a layer of peace, it's a sign. This isn't apathy or denial. It's a deep, intuitive confirmation that what's happening, however painful, is a necessary stage in your evolution. Psychologically, this state results from the reduction of inner conflict. When you live contrary to yourself, your energy is wasted on a constant civil war between who you are and who you pretend to be. When you begin to live authentically, this energy is released. Your nervous system is no longer in a constant state of fight or flight. How can you cultivate this state? Practice active discernment. When you're feeling stressed or anxious, pause for a minute. Close your eyes and ask yourself two questions. What part of this anxiety is coming from external circumstances? And what part of me remains calm and untouched? Focus your full attention on that quiet, peaceful place within. It may be difficult to find at first, but the more you search for it, the stronger it will become. This inner peace often becomes your armor when you have to face the next inevitable sign of progress, resistance from your surroundings. The third most uncomfortable sign that you're going your own way is growing resistance, criticism, and even hostility from those around you. We've been raised to believe that social acceptance is the measure of success. If everyone likes you, if no one finds fault with you, it means you're doing everything right. Jung argued the exact opposite. Widespread acceptance often means you've become a mirror reflecting others' expectations, that you've conformed to the collective norm so perfectly that you've lost your own contours. True progress on the path of individuation, becoming yourself, inevitably leads to conflict. When you start saying no, when you quit a safe job to follow your passion, when you change your political or religious views, you become a living remorse for those who lacked the courage to do the same. Your courage exposes their fear. Your freedom reminds them of their own prison. History is full of such examples. Every great thinker, artist, and reformer, from Socrates to Galileo, has encountered fierce resistance. Not because they were wrong, but because their truth threatened the comfortable status quo. In your own life, these inquisitors might be your parents who don't understand your abandonment of a legal career in favor of painting, or your friends who mock your new interest in meditation because it doesn't fit with your weekend parties. Psychologically, this phenomenon is based on the concept of the collective shadow. Every family, group of friends, or society has an unwritten set of rules and values. When you break them, you disrupt the group's cohesion and force its members to confront what they have repressed within themselves. Their criticism is often a projection of their own unfulfilled desires and fears. It's not an attack on you, it's a defense of their own fragile order. How can you distinguish constructive criticism from resistance that is a sign of progress? Apply the filter of intention. When someone criticizes you, ask yourself, does this person want to help me grow on my path, or do they want to steer me back on theirs? If the criticism is general, emotional, and focused on what people will say, it's probably a sign of resistance. If it's specific, supportive, and focused on your goal, it's worth listening to. Remember, a ship in port is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. Resistance is the friction that proves you're moving. But where do you find the strength to move forward despite this resistance? The answer lies in the messages your deepest self is sending you, which brings us to the fourth sign. The fourth, deeply personal sign of your journey is the sudden appearance of recurring archetypes and symbols in your daily life, dreams and visions. Your unconscious doesn't communicate through the language of logic and words. Its language is images, symbols, and myths. When you consciously choose a path aligned with your inner calling, your unconscious begins to cooperate with you, sending you confirmation and guidance in this symbolic form. Jung discovered that beneath our personal unconscious lies a deeper layer, the collective unconscious shared by all of humanity. This is inhabited by archetypes, universal patterns such as the sage, the hero, the mother, or the shadow. When you are on the right path, these archetypes begin to activate in your life. This can manifest in dreams. You begin to regularly dream of flying, symbolizing newfound freedom and perspective, or you dream of climbing a mountain, reflecting your struggle and pursuit of a higher purpose. These don't have to be just dreams. It might be a recurring animal motif. You constantly see owls, snakes, or wolves in films, paintings, and even in real life. Each of these animals carries a powerful archetypal meaning: wisdom, transformation, instinct. Jung himself treated his dreams with the utmost seriousness, considering them the most important dialogue a person can engage in. His famous Red Book is a record of an intense, years-long confrontation with images from his own unconscious, which allowed him to survive a profound crisis and formulate his most important theories. In today's busy world, we have been taught to ignore these subtle signals. We treat dreams as meaningless neural noise and intuitive images as mere fantasy. In reality, it is your soul's navigation system. Psychologically, when your conscious mind and unconscious mind begin to strive for the same goal, a powerful synergy is created. The unconscious mind, which holds vast stores of knowledge and intuition, begins to offer solutions and warnings in the form of symbols that your rational mind might otherwise miss. How can you begin to decode these messages, create a lexicon of personal symbols? When an image, dream, or symbol persistently recurs, don't immediately look for its meaning in a dream book. Instead, ask yourself, what does this symbol mean to me? What feelings, memories, and thoughts does it evoke? A dream about a snake might symbolize betrayal for one person, healing and transformation for another. Your personal associations are key. Write them down. Over time, you'll see that your unconscious mind uses a coherent language to guide you through your journey. This internal communication leads to a fundamental shift in your perception of the world and yourself, which manifests in the fifth liberating sign. The fifth incredibly liberating sign that you're on the right path is the gradual disappearance of the need to compare yourself to others. We live in a civilization of comparison. Social media is an endless gallery of other people's successes, perfect holidays, and perfect bodies. From childhood, we're judged and ranked, at school, at work, even within our families. This pressure creates a scarcity mentality, a belief that life is a zero-sum game in which someone else's success is your failure. It's the hell of constantly measuring your worth by external yardsticks. However, when you embark on the path of individuation, you begin to understand the fundamental truth Jung proclaimed. You are a unique experiment in nature. Your path is unique and incomparable to any other. Trying to compare your path to someone else's is as absurd as trying to compare the trajectory of an eagle's flight to the path a mole digs underground. Both are perfect and inherent to their nature. This realization doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It begins with a subtle feeling that scrolling through Instagram no longer inspires you, only exhausts you. You notice that your friends' successes no longer evoke a twinge of envy, and instead a genuine joy for them emerges because you understand that their victory takes nothing away from your own. Think about the history of great creators. Did Einstein compare his progress in the theory of relativity to Picasso's success in Cubism? Did Mozart worry that he wasn't as good at sculpting as Michelangelo? Absurd. Each of them was so deeply immersed in the exploration of their own unique world that they had neither time nor energy to look to the side. Psychologically, this phenomenon is associated with a shift in the source of validation from external to internal. As long as your self-worth depends on likes, promotions, and the opinions of others, you are a slave. When you begin to derive satisfaction from the very process of creating, learning, and becoming yourself, you free yourself from this trap. It's a shift from the dopamine high of external rewards to the profound serotonin-driven peace of inner fulfillment. How can you accelerate this process? Implement an information diet. For 1 week, consciously limit your consumption of content that triggers feelings of inferiority or envy. Unfollow accounts that make you feel bad about your life. Instead, fill this time with activities that connect you to your own path. Reading books that inspire you, working on a personal project, spending time in nature. You'll notice how that nagging voice of comparison fades, and in its place, a focus on what truly matters emerges. This focus empowers you to take the next crucial step on your path. The 6th powerful sign of maturity on your path is your growing ability to let go of what no longer serves you. It's not about willpower to acquire something, but the wisdom to let go. Our society glorifies accumulation, more money, more friends, more experiences, but true spiritual and psychological progress often involves subtraction. It's like a sculptor who doesn't add clay, but removes excess marble to reveal the form hidden within. When you begin to follow your inner compass, you become painfully aware of how much unnecessary ballast there is in your life. These are toxic relationships that drain your energy, but you cling to them out of a sense of obligation or fear of loneliness. These are habits like mindlessly scrolling on your phone or overeating, which serve as a temporary escape from uncomfortable feelings. These are old thought patterns, beliefs about yourself that family or society have instilled in you and which are no longer valid. Jung spoke of the necessity of confronting the shadow, that part of our personality that we hide and deny. The ability to let go is a direct result of this confrontation. When you realize you're stuck in a friendly relationship based on complaining because you're afraid of your own power, you gain the courage to end it. When you understand that your job, though prestigious, is destroying your soul, you begin to look for a way out, even if it means less pay. Think of the metaphor of a hot air balloon. To rise higher, you must throw away sandbags. Each bag represents a relationship, a habit, or a belief that weighs you down. Holding onto them feels safe because they're familiar, but only by letting go can you soar. Psychologically, this ability involves overcoming 2 powerful cognitive biases. Loss aversion, the pain of losing something is stronger than the pleasure of gaining something of equal value, and the sunk cost bias, the tendency to continue a venture in which we've already invested time, money, or emotions, even if it's doomed to failure. Being on the right track gives you a broader perspective, allowing you to see that the short-term pain of giving up is nothing compared to the chronic suffering of persisting in what's destroying you. How can you practice the art of letting go? Create an energy inventory. At the end of each week, make a list of the 3 main activities, relationships, or thoughts that have most drained your energy. Next to each, write 1 small step you can take in the coming week to reduce its impact. You don't have to break off a toxic relationship right away. You can start by not answering your phone after 8 p.m. You don't have to quit your job overnight. You can start by devoting 1 hour a week to exploring alternatives. These small acts of surrender build the muscle that will allow you to make bigger changes when the time comes. And this newfound energy allows you to hear the quietest yet most important signs of all. The seventh and final sign that you are on the right path is when your intuition, a silent confirmation from within, begins to speak more clearly than all the voices outside. It is the culmination of all the previous signs. Synchronicities showed you that the universe is listening. Inner peace gave you solid ground. Resistance from your surroundings forced you to strengthen your boundaries. Symbols taught you the language of the soul. Relinquishing comparisons allowed you to focus on your own map, and the ability to let go cleared the space. In this silence and clarity, a voice that has always been there but was drowned out by the noise of fear, expectation, and doubt finally becomes audible. Jung called this voice the self. It is not wishful thinking or an emotional impulse. Intuition is a deep, quiet knowing without logical justification. It is the feeling in your solar plexus telling you not to get in that car. It is the inexplicable certainty that you should accept a job offer that looks worse on paper. It's a quiet whisper that guides you step by step, often in directions that seem meaningless to your rational mind. Think of animals in the forest. They don't analyze data to know when winter is coming or where to find water. They simply know. They have a built-in internal compass. We humans have one too, but our civilization has taught us to ignore it in favor of logic, data, and expert opinion. Staying on track is a process of relearning how to trust this internal instrument. In today's world of analysis paralysis, where we have access to endless amounts of information, the ability to use intuition is a superpower. It allows us to make faster and more accurate decisions because it bypasses the overloaded circuitry of the conscious mind and draws on the vast reservoir of processed data in our unconscious. Psychologically, intuition is a form of ultra-fast pattern processing. Your brain accumulates data and experiences throughout your life. When you're faced with a decision, your unconscious mind, in a split second, compares the current situation with all similar situations from the past and gives you a feeling, positive or negative. It's not magic, it's highly advanced neurology. How can you strengthen this voice? Practice low-stakes decisions. When faced with a small choice, what to have for dinner, which route to take for a walk, which movie to watch, pause. Instead of analyzing the pros and cons, ask yourself, which option feels lighter, more expansive, more me? And go with that feeling even if it seems illogical. Every small decision like this, where you trust your intuition, is like a workout at the gym. You build trust in this inner voice so you can rely on it when you have to make truly important life decisions. The journey through life that Jung proposed is not an easy highway to happiness. It's rather a demanding climb to the summit of one's own soul. The 7 signs we discussed: synchronicity, peace in chaos, environmental resistance, symbols, the absence of comparisons, the art of letting go, and the voice of intuition are not trophies to be won, but landmarks on a map. They don't guarantee the absence of pain, doubt, or fear. They guarantee something much more important: that your suffering has meaning, that every step, even the most difficult, brings you closer to becoming who you were meant to be from the very beginning. The greatest tragedy is not failure, but success in things that don't matter to us. These signs are your safeguard against such tragedy, a silent confirmation that your life is becoming a work of art, not just a copy. Before you close this video, pause for a moment. Of these 7 signs, which one resonates with you most strongly at this moment in your life? Which truth was the hardest to accept? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your answer may be a validation for someone else who needs it. And if you're ready to explore your own soul map deeper, subscribe and join the journey.